me get started because there's a lot of stuff going on here, and if people show up, then they show up. So I'm going to start the class. Now, normally I would just turn the camera down, but there's some things I have to show you that we're going to be doing. So this is the paper bead class on Element 3 Health, and I'm very glad that you're here. And I am obsessed with making paper beads. I'll just show you a couple of things. Maybe, let's see. I'm just going to put it kind of close to the thing. Here's some beads that I made. Let's see, it's probably making you seasick. There we go. These are some beads that I made, I don't know, several years ago out of scrapbook paper. And I also lately been making beads, little bracelets out of paper beads, where I'm just doing little, just using paper beads as kind of like just as not the whole thing, but just part of it. So I've been obsessed with making them lately, and it's very relaxing and calming because we need a little calm and relax right now. So what you need is scrapbook paper, some kind of paper like this. This is designer paper. It's a 12-inch size paper. What I did, you can also use, you don't have scrapbook paper, that's okay. You can use a magazine paper. This is from a Vogue magazine, so you can use that. You can use all kinds of decorative papers. Like this one here is a little thicker. Well, let's see. Here's a nice thick art paper that you can use. And this is purple on the other side, so it's kind of cool. And what I did, this is a scrapbook paper. It's a 12-inch wide, it's a 12-inch. I cut it to 8.5 by 11. And I printed, if you can see, it's probably bright. I printed these little designs. So it's a template, and I can email this to you. It's a PDF that I have, and these we're going to cut strips to make the beads. So, like you can see, I printed this paper, and there's that. So, what we need is what we're going to do is we're going to cut strips, like all these strips. You can see. Whoops, they're everywhere. So this is what the beads are going to be made out of, a variation of strips. And I wanted to show you before I turn the camera down is this little guy is my little bead drying thing. Now what this is, it's a shoebox, right? You can see it's, just a shoebox that I took the lid, and I have the lid down here, and I put these little skewers on top, just taped it, nothing fancy. And this is where I put all the glazing. That's why I do all the glazing. So I just want you to know, when I put things to be glazed, this is what it looks like. So it's very easy and very cheap to do. Another thing that you might want to do is have lots of these little jars, just empty glass jars. And those are to put the glazes in. We also have, this is my favorite stuff. Okay, if you can see that, it's called PC Petrifier, and it is a wood. It's for wood, so it actually works great. It makes the beads rock hard. It's amazing. You can get it at Home Depot, anywhere else. So you need that, or if you don't have that, that's okay. You don't need it. There's also Elmer's glue, Mod Podge, anything you want to glue, and you would need a bead roller. Now, bead rollers make your life easier. The other day, I'm gonna go ahead and put my camera down now, and I will see you. I'm gonna turn it to the table, and I want to tell you something funny. I have all these bead tools, really cool bead tools, right? And I couldn't for the life of me find them. In fact, they're still missing. I don't know it's what happened. Maybe I sold them at a garage sale, because I don't know. But I was like, oh no, and I thought, well, how am I going to do this class without the tools? So I wanted to show you how I made my own bead rolling tool. This one is made out of a bamboo skewer. I made it myself. So I'm going to show you how I did it real quickly before we go anywhere else. But so just a typical bamboo skewer like this from the grocery store. I cut it down, and I'm going to show you what I did. I cut it down into this size, and you can see I marked little notches here, if you could see them. And then I take, let me move this out of the way. I'm going to take I'm going to split this. Now it's hard to split bamboo, and you have to be careful because I'm using a very sharp blade. And I kind of did this a little bit before we got started. And I just I made those little marks with the pen so I can kind of know where I'm making these little notches. And what I'm trying to do is just split the bamboo. I want to split it. Okay, so the more I do that, if I just keep doing it and working it, I have this little dental tool somewhere. Oh, here it is. So I have this little dental tool. It could be anything, but I want to split this. I want to actually create. I want this to be split. You see what's happening is I'm actually splitting that bamboo. So I can just do it however way I do it, but it just needs to be split. And this one didn't work out, but let's see what happened. Just all bamboos are different, but you want to split this thing. And if I split it, if I go all the way down, which this is going to be fine, you can see I'm splitting it there. Now I have two pieces of bamboo. Now I sand it, and I want to sand it very thoroughly. I'm not going to do so good on this one because I don't want to spend too much time. But you want to sand it, get the rough edges off. It's important to have smooth edges so when you work with these. And then you put them together, back together. Actually, you flip it. You flip it around, and now I have this split side here, and I have a split side here. So I can tape it or glue it. I can use even probably a bead. Let me see. If I take a bead, one of the beads that I had made, I can actually try to get it on there. Nope, it's not going to go in there. Maybe something else will work. Nope, that's not going to work. Let's see. I had a big bead that I made. Oh, there it is. There's a big one. Well, anyway, you need to tape it together. So I can use washi tape maybe. Let's just use that. The washi tape isn't really that strong, but I just want you to know how I used duct tape for that one. And I just want to secure it so that it doesn't go anywhere. So basically, I've just made a pretty rudimentary bead roller, but the cool thing is it actually works. So I just want to let you know, if you don't have a bead roller, you can make one yourself. So this is what I did to finish it off. There. So now I have a bead roller. So this is what I made most of these beads with. So I'll just want you to know that you can make your own. But if you don't, you can also buy these. I love this set of tools. In fact, I'm going to take this out of the way. And this set of tools I bought on Amazon. So it comes with 3 different sizes. You have the small, which will make more narrow holes. A medium makes kind of standard holes, and the large makes bigger holes. There's also paper quilling tools you could use, all different kinds of tools that you can use to make beads. So you need your strip of paper, you need your bead roller, whatever one you make, like one of these. You need something to put your beads onto. So I made this out of the duct tape roll. This looks kind of like a spiky crown, doesn't it? But this is how I once I made the bead, I'm able to put them on here. So I'll show you how I use that. But that's just duct tape and toothpicks. So anything you have around the house. You also can use like a little bead bowl to put your finished beads in. There's just all different ways to make this work. So if you only have this is a magazine page strip. I also have some other types of strips. I just want you to see how fun this is, because this can go, I've been just obsessing on this. This is just plain typing paper that I've painted with markers. So, you can just have fun with it. You can prepare your beads, you can have fun, just make a whole day of scribbling and making stuff. This one was also just markers I just scribbled all over the place. And so I just want to show you how to make the beads from just these kinds of basic supplies. And also another fun thing is to have pieces of foil paper, just anything. You're gonna go crazy. I know I have. I just like making beads all night and all day. I love it. So I'll start with the first one. Now I'm going to start with the first one. I'm going to show you how I did it with my handmade bead roller. That's all I had this weekend. So I was having fun making them. So you also need some white glue, any type, or Mod Podge. I like Mod Podge too. I've got that stuck. That's a Mod Podge stuck in a just a little small container. So you want to put your paper, slide it in. I'm hoping you can see this. I'm going to move this out of the way so you can see a little bit more clearly. I'm going to slide the paper in, and then I'm just going to gently start to roll. And I don't want to go too tight. If I go too tight, you want it tight enough to hold, but you don't want it so tight that you're going to have issues, like with it not coming off. That happens. So I'm just rolling the bead, and I'm not going to glue it. And this is where it can get really addictive because I don't want to do anything else now but make beads. It's terrible. But now, once I have all my beads, then I can start making jewelry, which is, I'm thinking for the next class, well, sometime down the month after people have made their beads, we'll have a jewelry making, paper bead jewelry making. So make sure you make plenty of beads of the ones I've shown you. Make plenty of them, and we'll have a jewelry assembly class. So now with this, I'm going to put some glue right at the tip, only at the tip. And then I'm just going to keep rolling, and this is where you can see. I'm just going to go gentle and slow, and I'm going to keep rolling until that paper, see how it wants to flip up? That's okay. I'm just going to keep rolling until it stays down, and it's going to stay down probably after the third or fourth. There we go. And if there's any extra glue, this is the time to take it off now. Okay, so now my little bead, this is a nice fat bead, so, and you can also adjust, you can see because it's not glued together, except for the very tip, you can actually move it around and balance it a little bit better. And then I'm just going to gently slide it off, and I'll put it on my little bead carousel to let it dry. So that's with this roller. Now the other roller, this is a different diameter. This one is the thinner. It has a thinner, I prefer these if I'm going to work with a thinner string or a thinner line. I think it just makes for a nicer, the smaller holes are better. They take a little while, but. So this is my little piece of paper that I scribbled on. And I'm just going to, there's a little slot, if you can see the slot, I'm just going to slide it into the slot, and I'm just going to start rolling. That's what these tools are made just for this. I did get them on Amazon, and if you're interested, I will be happy to send you the links on where I got them. But these make for a nice, handy, they're very handy, and you can get the different sizes. Let's see what's, these are just, this is just typing paper, office paper. And I'll roll it. Oh boy, fun. I like this. These are just acrylic markers that I use to make it. So I'm just going to put a little bit, I'll try the Mod Podge so you can see you can use different things. Just on the end. And this is, I think, is a matte Mod Podge. Pretty much any glue you've got around the house you could use. That one actually stuck a little quicker and faster. So there's that bead. And then I'll just take it off, and I'll put it on my little bead carousel. So I'm going to do another one so you can see. Oh, I've got some fun ones here. This one was, I just took a pen, and in fact, I should have wanted to add a little bit more to it. So if I wanted to add some color, you just dot color on it. That's how, basically you can take a whole page if you wanted to, let's say, I'll show you how I did this. So say you take a whole page and you just scribble, scribble, scribble. Just have fun. This is where you can get your kids involved, grandkids. You can take out, you know, get all your, you know, just have fun. Change your color. Dots. Boy, that's a messy one. So I would do the whole page normally. To just save some time, I'm actually going to not do the whole page. I won't bore you with that. But you can see how fun. It's like scribbling. You can write notes. Make little, like what we did the other day with the mark making. I even have an oil-based marker and see what, let's see what that one does. It's like a lime and green. This is a Sharpie. Okay. You can even take rubber stamps. Ooh, this would be fun. Let's say you have a stamp you like, and you just want to create patterns. Oh, let's see how this works. Just stamp patterns. It's pretty endless what you can do. So if you don't have decorative paper at home, have no fear. You can make your own. Let's see what else. What other mess can we get into? Okay. Now, if I wanted to add a little silver, I do have a silver pen here. This is really cool. Nope, that's not it. Okay, silver here. This is a chrome color. So I'm just going to kind of drag that across a little bit. I don't know if you can see it, but it's there. Okay. Now I've got to give this a minute to dry, but I'll just kind of show you while that's drying, I'm going to show you like what I do to cut the strips. So to cut the strips, like this, these are the pre-cut ones. You can actually use a straight edge if you want, or if you don't have a straight edge, a good long pair of scissors. I really like these because they have a nice long blades. But so it's really good to prepare your strips ahead of time. So here we've got this strip ready. And I'll just put them in my pile of strips real quick. So just prepare your strips ahead of time. Now this one I'm not going to measure. I could measure. I could use a template. There's actually little templates you could buy, or you can just kind of wing it. So like this one, I'm just going to go ahead and just start my cutting. And then I think the width of the bead is the widest part. So however wide you want your bead, you will cut your strip. Let's say this is about 1 inch. So I'll start my cut there, and then I'll just taper it inward. That's one style. Now there's many other types of styles, of course. But that's my favorite style because it makes this kind of shape. It's like a bicone shape. So that one's there. And if I wanted to make a round shape, I would go, let's say, it would be narrow the whole way, but very slight. There'd be a very slight, and I'll show you the difference between all these. So here's this one will be 1 inch wide to start. This one will be much more narrow. Let's see, I'll do a cylinder, which is just straight, just straight across, a cylinder bead. That's just going straight. There's no angle in it at all. So there's the cylinder. you can see there's different levels here. And I can get several beads out of this one piece. Now let's see, what else can I do? Oh, there's all different kinds, but I'll go a little bit wider on this next one. I'll go all the way out, and if I want to, that's a lot wider. If I want to, let's see, I'll make it end here. So let's say I started here, and then I'm just going to kind of cut at an angle right to this. And it's probably, if you're just starting out, just do these. You can use a ruler, but I'm sort of a freehander, so I just do it. And if you want a real, there we go, we'll just kind of do this nice little thing like that. Now you can see, so it's not exact. If you want your beads exact and perfect, you can measure them and make, do it exactly perfect. So I'm going to start with the big, slightly bigger one for this one. And you'll see, paint's still a little wet, but it won't hurt. This one will probably be a little bit longer and skinnier. And then, which is, you remember I actually tapered this down at the end, so. And this is actually good for papers. If you have papers that have a lot of words on them and you want the words to show, this is probably a nice way to do it. Okay, glue on the ends. And just roll. Isn't that pretty? I love that one. And that was just an impromptu scribble. And I'll take it off. So that made a nice big wide bead. I'll put it on my dryer. So the next one, I'm going to do this next one in a slightly wide, the same one, the wider one. These beads are not only great for jewelry, they're also really good for embellishments, like if you want to have a closure with a book, an art book, or they're just really fun little accents that you can put on a lot of things. So when you have lots of them, you'll start wanting to put things together and add those beads kind of as a little added touch. Okay, so that, I'm just going to keep rolling. That looks cool. Put it on there. Now I'll just bring over now the little narrow one, so you can see this one is much smaller in width, but it's much longer. So you get to play around with the sizes and the shapes. There's really so many. And I did cut another shape. It's going to be fun to show you, but I'll find it in the pile of strips. I just wanted to show you how easy it is to make your own colors. Or you can take papers that you already have and make them as well. So it's just lots of fun. You can immerse yourself in this. So that one kind of came out a little rounder, kind of a different shape. Now if I want to, I can stack my little beads. There we go, like that. So which one? Oh, the last one. I wanted to show you this one. This one's kind of cool. See, I made it wiggly. I cut it kind of wiggly shape. Just like, so kind of a free-for-all. So I have no idea what this is going to look like, but I think it would be fun to try. So I'm going to go ahead and use my homemade bead roller. And I'll put the paper inside the slot. And I'll start rolling. Now this one is not as tight as the other, but it does work. Once you get the paper started, it will work. And then we'll see how this comes out. And it's a wiggly one, so this is going to be more free form. I call them organic, maybe. And just keep your path, your strip kind of going straight. If it gets too far off, then the bead gets kind of wonky. This one I painted earlier with some acrylic, silver acrylic and red interference color. So I think that it's just kind of fun. And I, of course, painted the very end so that it was more metallic. Ooh, I like that. So this is a thicker paper, so it takes a little bit more pressing the glue down to get it to stick. So you just keep rolling until that end doesn't want to move. I think it's good. And sometimes you may have to add a little extra glue, like this little stubborn, it's being a little stubborn. So I'm just going to put a little more glue right at the bottom because it seems to, there we go. Maybe just let it sit a second and then roll some more. Sometimes you just have to be patient. Hold it. Okay, that's staying. All right. Isn't that gorgeous? That's going to look gorgeous when it's glazed. So I think I'm hoping that, so you can see you can get different sizes. So the thing I want to tell you is the big beads that have thick papers, like this one was fairly thick paper, I use the thicker, wider diameter bead roller. The smaller, more delicate beads like these little guys, these I make with the thinner, with this. Now I wanted to show you how I did this. That is a piece of, it's basically, if I can find one I can do this with for you to show you. There's one, I'll just use that. So what I'm going to do is, after, you can do this at any time you want to add a little sparkle. You just cut a piece of, here I've got this really thin origami paper. And just cut a little piece. And so you can see I have this little piece, this little strip. And sometimes you need tweezers, but maybe not. You could just put the glue on the end. And then just kind of get it on there. Now it's going to be a little bit before it will stick. So I'm going to, this is a tiny one to be doing this, but I'm still going to do it. I'm determined. So you can see I just rolled it on. Now I've got this really pretty silver accent right in the center of the bead. There you go. So you can see, I don't know if you can see if this will focus. I don't know if that's blurry or not, so I'm going to bring it down. There we go. I'll show you from there. So that's how you do that. So here's the next thing. Oh, before I move on, I got to show you something else. All right, I cut some strips out. Now here's a shape. I'm going to show you the different shapes. Here's a shape that's kind of long, and then it has like this little pointed edge. Then there's one somewhere in my pile. This one's a nice little, you can see has like painted. Oh, here it is. This is going to give an interesting shape. See, it has two, and it has basically, it's a big wide, it starts wide, and then it tapers down. So it has two parts. So I want to show you how to make those. It's been a while since I've made one, so if I make a mess, oh well. We'll try. So I'm going to slide that in and get it started. Now, the best thing to do is, it's probably not easy to fold both at the same time. So what I do, see how this is happening? So the best is just to do one and just kind of let the other one do its thing. This is called a double barrel. So it's basically you're making 2 beads in one. Two for the price of one. So I'll just go ahead and put the glue down. So that's good. It's going to stick. Then I'm going to start fold. Then I'll start on the second one. This actually came from a template that I bought probably 15, 20 years ago. I found it when I was looking for those tools I couldn't find. I did find this bead roller, or the bead pattern. There are also bead pattern templates online. You can, and I think even Etsy sells strips that are already printed, and all you need to do is cut. Printed and the pattern's already on, and you just cut them. So there's just so many options. I'll put a little bit more right on the end. So now that's a double-barreled. So it's 2 in 1. Isn't that cool? I just love that. So I'm just going to put that aside. So just so you, I just can do this forever and ever, but I'm going to stop right now and show you how I glaze stuff because it's just so much fun. Let's see if I can get, I'll do that later. Okay, so when you're ready to glaze your beads, what I use is, I use a dip method. It's a little bit easier to do than one at a time. Can you imagine? I suppose though, if I wanted to, I could take some fingernail polish right now and just brush it onto these, you know, to seal. But that will take some time, you know. I mean, but if you have time, that's fine. I like to make things a little quicker. So what I do, and I found this on a YouTube video a long time ago, and I just found it brilliant because I'd been making beads for so many years and I never knew this was possible. So I'm cutting a piece of line. This is fishing line. And I usually like to use a junk bead or a bead that I don't really care about at the bottom. Like, so I just call these junk beads because I just think that they're just to, we just need something to tie it off at the bottom. Just tie it off a couple times. So now I have that at the bottom. And now I'm going to string all of my beads that I've been working on. And I'll probably string, like I'll use one that I really don't care about, another one somewhere in here. That one, no, I won't use that one. One that I don't care about. Here we go. Here's a junk one. So these are made, I make junk ones that I can use for the dipping process, because you don't want the last 2 beads, this one isn't going to do it. The last 2 beads are not going to come out really well. So here, I'll just use that one. So that one I'll just use as my junk bead. And I'm going to string these. And I think in this case, I'm going to use all the wide beads that I have. So we'll just take all the wide hole beads and string them, or as many. You probably don't need a, can't go too many. I think it's about, there we go, wide bead. Here's one that I did earlier. So you see what I'm doing? I'm just stringing these. Until I get to, let's say, about this long. So I've got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You can go maybe a little bit longer. But what I want to do is, I need them so that they need to hang in my little box. You know that little box that I showed you? I have to show you. I'm going to have to show you a different way. Okay, so I just need them to be long enough. I'll just put this one in here. So I've got that. And then if I just tie it up at the top, I can make a little loop. This is going to be where I'm going to hang. I'm going to hang my beads from the little skewers in that box that I showed you a minute ago before we got started. Okay, so let's say I'm going to do that. Now for the smaller beads, which I've got lots, I'll take my little thing away there. I'll just stick them in here. Same thing. I wanted to take, well, this is my big fat bead thing. I'll put that up to the side, and I'll take this wire. Same, not the wire, I'm sorry, the line. And I'll make a junk, my least favorite. Oh, that's a tough one. What is my least favorite? I don't know. They're all so cute. I hate to sacrifice any of them, but I'm going to have to sacrifice one of them. Here's one I don't really like. Okay, so I just tie it off at the end. And that's it. And then just string them on. Taking my least favorites, because you want the ones at the bottom are going to get a little more concentrate of the material, the glaze, or the PC hardener, the wood hardener. And make sure your beads are pretty dry before you start the glazing process. That one's a pretty one. This one, oh, I wanted to, this one has a little glitter on it. And what I used was, I used these little stickles. Those, I just spread it on a little bit. If you can, I'm not sure you can see, but there's a little sparkle on that. So there's just, you know, different ways you can make your beads shiny and pretty. In fact, I'll show you really quick. If I wanted to do this one, because this one looks a little plain to me. So if I want to add a little sparkle, I just put on, gotta get it to come on out. That one doesn't want to come out. Here we go. Let's get it started. Okay, so now I put it on, and then I can just make a sparkly bead. Yeah, that's going to be prettier now. So I'm going to have to let that sit a little bit, because that should not be glazed yet. I'll let that dry. So the glazing process is so much fun. You just take this is the wood hardener. I stuck it in a jar, PC wood hardener. It goes in a jar like this. I'll show you right now. I'll just put all these away for now. I take the beads that I had strung, open this up, and I just keep this in the jar all the time. And I'm going to dip them inside, let them just drop them in. And I want those to just stay until, kind of like, let all the bubbles, let the bubbles, kind of let the stuff soak in. It's okay for it to soak in. And just leaving it in there for a minute, it's okay, letting all that, just let all that wood hardener go into the paper fibers. And then what I do is I take it out. I just need to, it's kind of weird with this camera here, so I don't want to get it all over the place, but I just take it out and I kind of gently tap it against the sides. And then I'm going to take it over to my little drying thing. And if I'm going to take my camera off to show you what I did. Let's see if I can do this without ruining it. Let's see. Oops. I'm going to turn it just so you can see. You can see I have it right there. See how it's hanging? Well, that's what you want to do to all of them. So the same thing. Now I have some that I had done a little bit earlier. This one was, you can see this was the first coat. And this one, they kind of stick together. This one is only one coat. So now they kind of they snap apart. And what's nice is the hardener, it won't stick to the wire. It's really weird how it just, you can loosen them up, kind of, so you, in between each coating, after about an hour or so, you can break, snap apart the beads, and then you can do another coat. And with this, you don't even need to use a gloss because it's already really glossy. So I'll go ahead and drop them in, and they get more hard after each dipping. Just want to get all that extra stuff off. And then I'm just going to transfer it over to my hanging thing. This one I think was, okay, this one also had been dipped only once. So basically you do about 3 dippings with your this, and then the very final one, if you want to, is bead glaze. You can use like a polyacrylic or anything like that to give your final shine. Now this one is ready to be, but basically it's the same thing. So I snap these apart. I love these. These came out nice. This was just solid typing paper, or paper I got at Office Max, and then I just put a different color over that. And these little guys are just little magazine pages where I added some some words, which I thought came out really nice. So you can see, oh, and I wanted to tell you there's one type of, this one didn't come out. These were Japanese papers, and I didn't think they came out, so they didn't get hard enough. And I think it's just too absorbent, or maybe I just need to wait a few more days. So I'm going to give it a few more days, see how that works. But that is my demo today, and I'm going to unmute. If you have, let's see, I'm going to turn my camera back up. And I'm going to see if you have any questions.